What is up? Welcome back to Cryptographics and welcome to the day 28 Torus.win update. And we have a lot to talk about. We've seen a lot of interesting things happening. We've seen supply mechanics or supply distribution changes. We've seen a whole hell of a lot. So if you're watching this on X, be sure to share it out. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed and also blast this out as well, wherever you are in chat rooms or on social media, you name it. So let's get right into it. And I would like this stream to be about 20 to 30 minutes, just nice and brief. And before we do, I just want to welcome everyone into the chat here. We've got Rich Landon present. Good day, sir. Good to see you. We got Super Dad. It's 12 a.m. my side, so good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. And Drock, my man. Good to see you all. And Titan Joe just made another 88-day creation. I love it. Sick. That is what I want to see. So let's hop right in and let's get to the good stuff now. Let's start with the DApp because we have a whole lot to talk about. And I want to start here. Actually, I just need to share my screen first, I guess, if we're going to talk about one of these pages. Let me open it up. Torus, boom. So real quick, if you're watching the stream and it's the first time you've heard of Torus, Torus is the, how do I put this simply here? I'm trying to refine my pitch here, but Torus is the first of its kind that allows you to make the most of your tokens in any market, meaning in a bull market or a bear, there is something that you can do to compound your bag fast. If you want to be able to compound your bag every 88 days at the max, Torus is right for you. Now, a simple way to think about it is imagine if you could stake your Bitcoin and compete with the miners that are earning the block rewards. What would that do to the price of Bitcoin? What would that do to the scarcity? What would that do to demand? Here we have Torus. And on that note, there are two main mechanics. You can either create when the ROI is higher or when the ROI for creating drops below staking. Then you can simply just go ahead and stake your tokens as well. So there is a mechanic that will allow you to maximize any market condition in a game. So on that note, I am going to talk a little bit about the creation mechanic today, a little bit more, because there's some interesting things that we have seen happen over the last couple days. And I am going to bring up the price chart here because you guys have probably seen the thumbnail if you're watching on YouTube that, yes, in fact, we did have a couple juicy red candles. And at first glance, you might think, uh-oh, that ain't good. We're going down. And yeah, well, we are. But when you go underneath the surface and you go to the transaction history here, and you go to this set of 4 or 5 transactions right down here. So see this guy right here, these two transactions, one for 7,500 and one for 2,300. So if we were to go to Etherscan and follow this, and you can do this, I implore you to do this so you can see what I'm talking about here. You would know that this is the guy, this is the culprit for the majority of this red candle up here. Now, again, at first glance, you're thinking, that sucks. Ouch. Not good for Torus. But actually, this person was doing exactly what Torus was designed to do. Okay. So what happened was they made a small short-term creation. I think it was about 27 days. And they were able to get out 10K from that short creation. They were majorly in profit. And what they did was they took about nearly 60 billion Titan X that they did not have before. And instead of leaving and going somewhere else, just holding Titan X, extracting from the system or from the ecosystem, what they actually did was they went and they compounded using the creation mechanic. And I'm going to go into this today, and I'm going to show you the power of compounding in Torus. So let's get right into it. So if we were to look at this total here, so they had about 53 or 43 billions, we'll call it 44, and we'll call this 14 for a total of 58 billion. So if we add this up here, it looks like they had they've had about 1,150 Torus. Okay, so that's what they got out and that's what they sold. They sold a little bit more than that as well. There's another transaction here. I believe it was this one actually right here, F1F97B. And for a total, basically, if we don't include this one, of about 1,150, if we want to bump this up, this is about 1,250. And if we add in this Titan X here, is a total of about 62 billion. So if we go back to the Torus DApp, remember, they cashed out about just over 10K. So now if we type in, so the simple way to use the power is if you want to be able to, let's say we know it's 65 or 62 billion, right? I would type in 6, 2, and you can see it's already the 62 in the deposit number here is already geared up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 0, or actually in the power, sorry. I'm going to go 0, 0, 0. Boom. And this is how much they deposited 2 days ago into the system. Now, check this out. Remember that initially when they sold, that the price was much higher. It was in the 50 million to 1 range, right? And obviously they brought it way down here. So they probably got most of the majority of their transaction around the high 40s here. And that being said, that means they are getting slightly better deal than what we're seeing now. So if we go back to the DApp here, what I want to show you is the magic of compounding. And this is by design. This is why I've been saying creation is the compounding machine, right? That person sold 10K, right? If they were to buy on the market 10K worth of Torus, they would get obviously around 1,300, right? Stay with me here. If you put $12,000 into the Torus system to create for 88 days, you're creating 6,000 tokens. So they went from now 1,200, 1,300 tokens to now 6,000 tokens as their base amount that they're now going to be able to earn on top of. So they started with like hundreds of millions of, or maybe $1 billion Titan X. They brought that up significantly here. I think there was actually more. I'm not going to say too much on that front, but they put some in. I believe they put some ETH in there as well. And then they took out 62 billion. They put that back in the system and compounded their 1,200 Torus into 6,000 Torus before they even started earning. And they're even going to get, they went from, I guess 1,300 Torus would have been worth, if we multiply that, I guess 27 days. I'm not going to do that math on stream. They compounded the living hell out of their bag. And what's even more special about this, I mean, if you're watching this and that's you, congratulations. That's amazing. You're using the system exactly how it was designed. And again, this isn't everything though. One of the big takeaways from this is that people are seeing the long-term power of creation and staking. Because if you were to go ahead and cut this length in half, you'd think the ROI would cut in half, right? Well, if I go to 48 days, remember, look at this ROI here. That's 11,300% ROI is estimation. If I go to 44 days, that ain't half. That is not half. That's less than 1/10 of the percentage ROI that this estimation has. And if you look, they're only creating half as much Torus. And they're only getting less than almost nearly like 9 times less shares, which is insane. So if we go back up to 88 for this person, 46.95, 47 million shares essentially. So what this is showing me, and this is very positive for Torus itself, is that this is signaling that people that were in the system initially to make a quick profit made a quick profit. And instead of deciding to extract that from the ecosystem, they put it back in. This is very, very, very bullish behavior, in my opinion, for people that are understanding the system, and is already signaling to me that people are getting it. And I mean, again, congratulations to you. If this was your move and you're watching this, I applaud you. I think this is fantastic to see. Anyone that is using the mechanics in Torus, how they're designed to be utilized and maximized, is amazing, in my opinion. So a red candle is totally fine, especially because, remember, when we're talking about red candles and we're talking about ratios in Torus, I'm going to bring up this tab here, as I almost did the thing I usually do, but I didn't. I caught it. If we're way up here, the system operates smoothly down here. This is just compounding territory. That's what this is. That's by design, right? When we're in this territory, this is optimal ratios and prices relative to Titan X to compound your bag the fastest. And I'm going to show you why this is, right? So we have some brilliant minds in the Telegram group that we also have conversations with every single morning at 8 a.m. So if you're not in there, go to the link in the description if you're on YouTube. If not, go to my bio if you're looking at the Cryptographics X page and click over to the Torus Win account, which then you can go into that bio. I know it's a little bit of a workaround, but I can't post information really into my streams here on X, so you have to work with me on this one. But go follow Torus Win at Torus Win, and in the bio to that X page, you're going to see the link to the Telegram. Please do go ahead and join that. So one of the easy ways to understand the creation element is that this is like a fixed, like when you're depositing Titan X, there is a specific ratio that you are going to be able to deposit Titan X for and create Torus. Now, if we bring this down to, let's say 10, and we can see that currently it's a little more than 10 million that you need to deposit in Titan X terms to create one Torus. Right now it's about 10.2 million, right? And this goes up every single day. So what you can think of this by, and shout out to you, Mr. Mario, because you actually put this frame on it. And I really do like this. So for some of you, this may make a little more sense than it previously did, is you have the ability in the system to use 10 million Titan X to go ahead and basically buy with the system's ratio 0.98 Torus. And that might not be able to be what you're able to do in the market. So there's kind of an arbitrage opportunity here, right? And when the prices are higher, this mechanic here guarantees getting Torus at a specific price relative to Titan X, right? Which currently is right here, right? This is your ability to, this is your break-even point right here when you're creating. This is all profit. Everything from here to here. This is all profit, right? So what's happening is, as the creation, as the ROI, or sorry, 3 in a row, third time's a charm, as the ratio is high in here, what you're going to see is that buying on the market is going to get you a fraction of what you can get by creating in the system. And this creation method here, where you are putting in 10 million Titan X and you are gaining just shy of 1, you couldn't spend $1.95 and get $8 worth of Torus on the market. That doesn't work like that. But you can when prices are high in the system. So what this means is, if we were to amp this up, and let's go to a little bit of a bigger number here, let's do $195, right? So 1 billion Titan X will get you 97.78 Torus. Now that Torus is currently worth $802. And this is how compounding works. Okay, so let's say you finish a creation, you finish a stake, and you see that the Titan X that you can put in the system is less in value than the Torus it creates. What that means is you can effectively take the Torus you have, sell it on the market, because you're now going to get more Titan X, right? And then you can take that, Titan X, put it back in the system, and I'll show you this in just a second, and you'll get even more Torus. Okay, so let's do a little example here. Let's say I have 97 Torus, right? So I sell my 97 Torus for $802. Okay. This is what we're sitting with. So $802, 97 Torus. That's what I had. I'm selling that right now. Boom, done, sold. So now what I'm going to do is now obviously I'm going to have to figure this out on the fly, but essentially if I go roughly around here, let's do 4,100, something like that. Boom. So now I sold my 97 Torus at the moment based on current prices, which was just over $800 worth. And that got me 4.1 billion Titan X. Now that's worth $801. But check this out. Because I went from Torus back into Titan X for $800, right? Now I can take that $800 and I can create upfront 400 Torus. Remember, it's a 4x increase on the amount of Torus that I just had. This is the power of creation, where you are leveraging high prices to go back into Titan X to get more Titan X than you previously had, to create more upfront than you previously earned and created or staked the previous time around. That's the compounding nature, the compounding Torus nature of the protocol. So I really want you guys to understand this, because this is exactly what Torus was designed to do. It was designed to allow high prices to be compounding dreams. Like it's perfect when the prices go high and people are able to actually capture this, right? And by compounding, what people are actually doing is something very interesting as well. So as people are compounding and selling the price down, right, what happens is eventually the price gets down sometime down here, right? And now this is where things really get interesting, where the power of Torus will really showcase itself, because this is the tipping point here, where if we go back to the DApp and I share this, we can see the ROI here is 11,537% for creating. If we click staking, it's only 2,600%. But as the price, because the creation ROI is based on the price. So if you can do rough math here, you'll see that if you were to multiply, right, 2,698% by the ratio above the 10 million to 1 ratio, so 4.2, right? What you would see is that the ROIs are basically the same. So what that means is, as the creation ROI reduces by a factor of 4.2, then those two ROIs are actually going to be the same. And so at this point, people will stop compounding their Torus in that method, and they'll be more inclined to stop selling and stake. And of course, some people are going to do that, right? That's totally fine. But the whole time that this is happening, right, if this behavior is actually coming from compounding, what's happening is you have the people that are selling, and they are selling up here. They push the price down to here, and then they're taking that Titan X and they're putting it back into the Torus system. And this is the Torus system here. And which is the whole time, it's making the Torus system more and more powerful. It's refilling the system with more and more and more Titan X. And this is extremely powerful because it helps the system stay in its optimal zone here, which is around this middle ratio where the creating ratio and the creating ROI and the staking ROI go back and forth. This is when the system is its smoothest and most powerful. And I mean, if you're looking at the system in terms of how it gets powerful, well, the buy and build is one of the magical features of Torus, where it builds its own liquidity. And if we go to the DApp right now, we're going to check out exactly what's going on over there. We'll start with the buy and burn just to show you how many dollars are currently sitting in the contracts. And right now, hello, there we go. Thank you. The buy and burn currently has 36 ETH, just shy of 36 ETH. We have $139,500 in ETH sitting there, $255,000 in Titan X, and then another time reserve with another nearly $200,000 sitting in a time lock vault that will be released back into the buy and burn every 110 days or on day 110. Now, that contract, or those contracts, work every 10 minutes and anyone can trigger them. And they buy and burn Torus, meaning they buy Torus and they delete it from supply permanently. And just for the record, anyone that is new here, welcome, for one. And two, there's already been 4,600 Torus burned from supply permanently. They can never come back. They're permanently deleted. And that's what the job of the buy and burn is. Now, we also have a contract called the buy and build, which is one of the more interesting things about Torus, which allows it to create a thick, robust liquidity pool to allow for stability and a smooth and less volatile journey as Titan X increases and decreases over time, which makes it just more enjoyable experience. It's more predictable. The system works better, and so on and so forth. And right now, we are sitting at about almost $268,000 in the buy and build currently. And if you're thinking like a liquidity provider, the best place to provide liquidity is in an area where the price is going sideways, more or less, and the volatility is, well, I guess you can have some volatility, but really you want the price to be coming up and down inside the range that you're providing liquidity for. If the price is going up and staying there or down and staying there, it's actually negative for liquidity providers. You are seeing what's called impermanent loss. And from a protocol standpoint, if you provide liquidity high and then the price goes low, well, I mean, that's not fantastic, right? You're going to lose a lot of your value, especially because up there, a lot of the value is going to be mostly in Titan X tokens. The higher the price goes, right, in Torus terms. So as the system comes back down to the price here that I was talking about, this is basically, if you're a liquidity provider for Torus, this is probably where you want to provide liquidity around this ratio, so you're capturing most of the fees. And if you're the protocol, maybe the same logic applies, right? We'll see. And let's go back to the DApp here because I want to keep going. There's a lot of stats to talk about. And to cap this all off, I guess what I can say is if you are seeing this and you were seeing that candle and you're thinking maybe negative thoughts or you're a little bit fearful of what's happening here, that's by design. I am very happy to see that happening because that means people are using the system to benefit themselves. So again, if that's you who's watching this video, congrats. I implore you or applaud you, I guess. And let me go back to the chat here real quick and see what's going on. So let's see. We got Damien in the house. Yes, sir. Pulling up to show the homie support. Thank you, brother. We got Wookie Torus Slayer. Nice. I love the name. That is awesome. Video Graphics may have also started in 88 this week. Nice. Let's go. That is good to see. Good to have you here. I've been seeing you over on the Superman's chats or Superman streams. So it is nice to see you here as well. And I love your name. That is awesome. If I could do the Wookiee call, I would. But if I try, I'm going to embarrass the hell out of myself. So no, ain't doing it. Are the creations time-stamped or rollover of the day? Great question. So all creations and stakes are time-stamped. So if you were to start a creation right now, Pacific time, it's 3:22, almost 3:23. So if you can actually go, or if you had an 88-day creation, 88 days from now at 3:22 or 3:23, your creation or stake would be finished. Now, on the staking side, you can early end them after 50% to get your principal plus some earned back. But for creation, it's after. It's only once you have actually completed every second of that 88 days. And then you have 14 days to claim. So that should clear it up for you. Hopefully that makes perfect sense. Let's see here. Klaus Hein, good morning from Australia. Hey, glad to have you here. We got a lot of Aussie friends. So loving having more Aussie friends in here as well. Rich Landon is also here from earlier. I heard it mentioned that the fee to staking costs a lot more later. What causes that? Well, it's funny. It's relative. The cost for staking does not go up. It's always 5%. But in terms of the same amount of tokens, the cost goes up. So the cost for shares in the system is always increasing in their price to get in. And this is due to, if you have, let's say you have 10 billion Titan X, right? And that creates you less and less and less Torus over time, right? And that is also the way the staking fee is calculated. Then it costs, then you can stake less and less and less for the same amount of Torus or the same amount of Titan X, which means if you want to stake 1,000 Torus every 88 days, it's going to cost you a little less and a little less, or sorry, a little more and a little more and a little more, because that's the difficulty of the system. And this is actually by design, because this makes it so if someone is trying to, let's say the system goes into staking mode, which I'm only referring to as like a mode, but essentially, if we go to the price chart, the easy way to think of this is if I share this tab, this box here, this here, anything under this ratio currently, and this is going to go up over time, but anything in here, obviously not negative 16 million to 1, that'd be pretty brutal. But anywhere in this box here throughout time, and remember that this ratio is going to slowly tick up like this, right, over time. Anything in here is what I consider staking mode, right? This means that the ratio or the ROI for staking is now higher than the creation ROI. So if I'm coming back to the, where was I going with this? I just lost my train of thought. Oh, right. Thank you for somehow reminding me there. Basically what happens is, as people try and do like rolling stakes and try to like scrape the yield off of those stakes just to live off of in a staking environment within Torus, this difficulty mechanic kind of forces people to think twice, because if you do that, well, because every 88 days, the costs for staking the same amount of Torus go up. And let's say you're just scraping the yield every time and you're leaving your principal. Well, each time, eventually you're going to start literally paying out of pocket or out of your principal in order to keep staking. And you simultaneously, the supply is going to be expanding, meaning the share pool is going to be expanding, and you are going to get diluted so fast to the point where you cannot do this without cannibalizing yourself at some point. It might take a year, it might take 4 or 5 cycles, 6 cycles, but you will if you were to only do that. And that's why in the white paper, I put that Torus cannot have Dragon X built on it. Torus can't have someone that's just rolling stakes and just trying to take a little bit out, put it into their protocol, and then do something with it for their own benefit. You could not do that. It defends against that kind of behavior to prevent someone from extracting at the expense of everyone else. And that's for a protocol, that's for users, and that's by design. By design. So again, maybe in another stream, we'll focus completely on staking, but I think this is good enough for now because there's a lot of math involved here, and I don't want to take over the entirety of the stream because we're already 25 minutes in. Oh my God. This was already supposed to be just a 30-minute stream. Okay, I might have to start cruising here a little bit, guys. But yeah, I'll wait to try this on PLSX August 18th. That's true. Unity will be out on August 18th to 20th. So anytime between those 2 days. Is there an unstaking fee too? Nope, just the gas fee. So you pay to stake. You don't have to pay more PLSX to actually unstake. It's one time coming into the system, and that goes to the buy and burn, the buy and build, and to burning PLSX and Genesis as well. Crypto Jag says, great job. Love Torus. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you being here and appreciate the kind words. And I'm glad that you're loving Torus. So Tree says, does Torus have a smart burn tech sort of like Bonfire? If you're familiar, just burns more or less based on ratios. Just wondering. I can't remember. So it's funny. The guys that built Torus also built Bonfire, but we've never really gone deep into Bonfire. So I don't really understand it too well. So I can't really comment on that. Too much. And I got to keep moving here because I just realized it is, basically 30 minutes in already. And I got to get to a lot of stats. So we're going to hustle through some stats and we're going to get this stream all wrapped up very soon here. But that was the big thing that I wanted to showcase today, guys, was the power of compounding, and that selling can get you a whole lot more Torus when you do it right, when you're utilizing the features and how Torus was designed specifically. So let's go and let's check out some stats here because we got a lot to talk about. Let's share this tab instead. So we're definitely getting into the $1 million mark now. We're $1,077,500 into the protocol already. We are 98 minus, we're going to have to get this corrected again, but again, 98 ETH is what this is reading. This is probably closer to about 90. And we have 3.67 trillion total Tinex deposited, as well as a future max supply currently of 11.5 million. Now, let's look at what's been happening on day 89. So remember, if you haven't, or I guess if you don't remember because you weren't here, I'll refresh you. On day 1, the expected amount of tokens coming out on day 89 was 8.5 million. By day 2 or 3, it was 4.7 million expected on day 89, which is the day that day 1 88-day creations come out. And there was a bunch, as you can see down here, there was a ton of creations made on day 1, right? So this is usually the big scary day, right? When the largest amount of supply will ever come out is typically from day 1s or day 1ers. And now, remember, from 8.5 million down to 4.7 million in just 2 days or 2 or 3 days. Now we're on day 28. And already we've gone from 8.5 million tokens coming out on day 89 to 1.77 million. And we still have 60 days to go of this number lowering as more and more people create, because this is the magic of Torus, is where when a future potential supply can come out on a given day, people coming in after that day are taking from this future potential here and placing it at the end of their claimable period. So it means if someone does an 88-day creation from today, they're taking a little bit from everyone's potential earnings up to this point, and they're able to claim that here. And people that are after them take from everyone else's and this person's, and then they leapfrog them. It's like a competitive game of leapfrog, if you will, with some of these tokens actually being realized, because we have done 28 days so far. And that means that people can actually, or have actually earned plenty of tokens that will be calculated into this that cannot be removed. The question is, how many future tokens will be taken out of this number here and sent into the future? That's the big question. Now, originally we had day 58 was the first day where we would crack 100,000 tokens. And now that is already lowered by 10,000. That was well over 100,000 tokens expected to come out cumulatively by day 58. And now we are into day 60 when we finally crack 100,000. So as you can see, this is working extremely well. And this is really cool to see how the supply numbers just keep getting pushed out into the future. And you know what's going to be really cool to see as well is this is going to look like the Bitcoin supply over time as well, because what we're going to see is we're going to see a vertical line here, or almost vertical. It's going to be like a nice sharp spike in supply increase. And over time, it's going to be this nice smooth curve that almost reaches 125 million cumulative supply and then doesn't. And then at that point, then things get really interesting because the buy and burn can start erasing. And we might actually see times where this cumulative supply actually decreases. So that's going to be really fascinating to watch. And I am really excited to see that. Now, again, we've had 1,709 creations, 155 stakes, and we're on a little bit of a downtrend on the daily for creations at the moment, but we've had a nice bump over the last week or so, which is fantastic. And staking has been low, which is obviously completely understandable because creation is completely overpowered at the moment. We've had 4,700 total Torus burned. We're down to only 18,400 supply with a number of Torus that's already come out. And the burned percentage of the total supply is now 20%. That ain't bad. Not at all. So let's go back to the DApp here and let's talk about a few more things. Let's go to the stats page. So the total payout for today is worth $801,000. The current number of Torus that's just going to be distributed at the end of the next day, I guess on day 29, once day 29 actually completes, is 97,784 tokens getting distributed to everyone who's either staking or creating in the protocol. And again, if we go down here, we have 5,957 Torus staked worth $58,000. We've burnt $38,000 worth of Torus, and we have burned 211.77 billion Titan X. And let's go to the stats here real quick, because I want to show you exactly how we're doing on the Titan X page here, which I am still curious to see why there's a discrepancy between the Dune dashboard and this number here, but this number is accurate. And if we go to Titan X Hub, let me just get the page up here. If we go to Titan X Hub, what we can see is we are creeping up in number 13th position on Morph. And we have passed a number of other protocols in burning all the way up to almost number 12 position at this point, and we are climbing fast. So if you're asking me, I think in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be challenging Lotus, if not surpassing Lotus, as we go into the future here, especially if participation kicks up a notch. And we're only 29 days in. Well, technically, we've completed 28 days. We're on the 29th day, but still not bad for 28 full days of work. So Torus is crushing it. The Titan X price is up 14% on the day. Everything is doing fantastic. We've got the bubbles. Let's go look at the bubbles here real quick. Ouroboros is crushing it. Ascend is absolutely sending. Helios, HLX is sending. We've got Matrix up 7, almost 8%. Morph is up 22%. Torus obviously up 11% on the day. Inferno, Titan X is crushing it. We got Smoke, Viper, Element, Tink, Hyper, Dragon X are all doing fantastic. And then just generally everything is up a couple percent or two for the most part. So ecosystem is looking fantastic. And we're just looking great, guys. Let me just go to the chat real quick here. And let's see here. Love what you've built. Just managed 2 more creations yesterday. Right on. Let's go. Welcome to the Age of Torus, my friend. Glad to have you. Let's see here. Yeah, no problem. Would be awesome to record your video chats and post it on your channel. I actually have thought about that as well. And I might do that. Maybe what I'll do, I was considering doing that on the Torus channel, not on the personal channel here, but maybe on the Torus channel. That might be the better way to go about it. But I have had people ask for that a few times, and I do know that those chats are sometimes absolutely fantastic. So, or most of the time, honestly, they're fantastic. So if you're not in the Telegram group, go ahead and jump in there in the description below if you're on YouTube, or go follow at Torus Win. And in the bio, you'll see the link to the Telegram there. So thank you for that suggestion. I hear you loud and clear. Yeah. A whale was born. Yeah. Unreal how that works. It's awesome. It's going to be so cool to see this unfold over time and really watch what this system is capable of. And like I've always said, you know, things are working well right now. The prices are high. Everyone's happy. And when prices go down, this is what Torus was built for. Torus proves itself on the way down, not the way up. Just remember that. Really easy to get caught up in prices dropping and, you know, getting nervous. But even if the price drops, right, let me bring this up. Most people that got in on day one are up about somewhere between 30 and 50x, or were at the top here. So if they come down here and they drop 72% or fourfold, right? If you have a 30x, or let's say it's a 32x, if you're sitting on 32x currently and the price drops by a factor of 4, you're still sitting on an 8x. And for every 50% it goes, you're still, if it goes down 50% further, so if it goes down, if Torus goes down in Titanx terms, another 50%, that's an 86% drop from here, and you're still up 4x. If it goes down to 2.5 million, you're still up 2x. And if we were to go to 1 million, for a lot of these people, that's going to be the break-even point. And if we go 1 million, basically, we're sitting at like 16, 17, 18 cents, I think it would be. And we're currently at like $8.21. So that's a long way to go. And that would be a huge amount of sell pressure that people are continuously pounding away at, which, I mean, this system is designed to do a lot. And we'll see what ultimately happens. But even if the price comes back down to 10.2 million, people are going to be still crushing it. And even if they go backwards a little bit, well, you can go back in the system. The locks up supply allows the buy and burn to push the value of the system up, and then you're back in profit, right? That is the whole systemic design of Torus. And on that note, I am going to start wrapping this up. Exactly. And price drop equals more tokens burned by the buy and burn, more tokens absorbed by the buy and build, and more deflation in general, more scarcity, more, I guess you could say, more tokens are taken away from potentially getting into the Torus pool, which means more room for earning for those that are still in the system. Exactly, Hextamars, you got it. Somebody already records your streams and posts the VCs. Oh, is Sergey doing that daily? Because if he is, I might have to get a hold of him, see if I can get those VCs on the Torus channel as well. Because I keep forgetting to look into that. But that's great information to know. Thank you. All right, guys and gals and everyone watching, thank you for hanging out with me for the last 37 minutes. I am going to wrap this up. Is there anything else that I need to show you before? I think that's everything. Yeah, again, if you're not in the Torus Telegram, please join. We have daily conversations, daily calls at 8 a.m. PST. And we also have, I'm going to be doing a Spaces tonight, if you're watching this, at, I believe it'll be 7 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be a very chill late night space. It'll be very casual. We're going to talk about Torus. We're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about the vision, talk about Titanx, talk about Ethereum, and whatever else comes up. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys are going to be there. And on Saturday, so in 2 days from now, there's going to be a community stream for the Titanx community on Saturday at 8 a.m. PST, so 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's always great. I hope more of you will come out, join me on screen, so that way we can have some fun, chat, have a little casual conversation to start our Saturdays. And that's it, guys. Welcome to the Age of Torus. I hope you guys are having a great time. I hope you guys are excited about the future, because there is so much happening right now. And this is only the beginning. So thank you all for being here. Welcome to the Age of Torus. See you next time.